Alright, hello, it's day number 37 of my accountability to myself, and today I caught myself with one pretty interesting idea. While preparing to economics exam, I realized that I'm lack of time. And it's a weird feeling when you're in a rush, you're trying to accelerate this process somehow of your studying, but you cannot do this, you cannot have more time than 24 hours per day, for example. The first problem that I realized I needed to start preparing earlier, but I was preparing to accounting, so I have economics exam in 2 days, and it's not really cool, but it's not the topic. I realized absolutely everything depends on our priorities. We will always be a lack of time, and the only thing that literally determines us as a person are our priorities. Because every time we make a decision, I was saying about this, that we are making lots of decisions every day, most of them subconsciously. And the sense of your existence is what are you doing while making those subconscious decisions. Because we can organize ourselves, we can try to study for 1 hour, we can allocate 1 hour of studying per day, but when we genuinely feel bad or depressed, we have some things that we start doing just because it determines us as a person, because we got used to do this. For example, in my case, going to the gym, it's part of my life. It's something that I started doing. I got used to do this. I realized it's something that makes me better every day, and I cannot imagine stop going to the gym. Even in my lowest moments, when I don't want to do anything, the only thing I'm gonna do always is going to the gym, because it's just part of myself. I cannot stop doing this. And it's very important to realize that if we want to become a competitive person in a specific field, we are supposed to be obsessed with that idea, with that area. Why? Because I heard lots of time, if you want to become the best, you just have to take your hobby and make it your job. And it kind of makes sense, because you're gonna do something you really love, and it's gonna bring you profit, because you're going to do something that is part of yourself. So I realized I really need to change my priorities, and I can always study more. And it depends on my priorities, and it depends on what person am I, what kind of thoughts do I have, because even our thinking, what are we thinking about, determines us also as the person. For example, lately I'm trying to think in terms of economy. I really like to, over the past several days, I started perceiving something in terms of economy. I mean I see something, and I think, is this related to perfect competition, to monopolistic competition, to oligopoly, or to monopoly? 4 kind of competitions that exist in economics. And for example, I can see chess. I have chess on my table, And I can say that it's related to monopolistic competition, because we don't have any barriers to entry. We don't need anything crazy to compete with someone as we need in oligopoly and monopoly. And the only thing that is gonna determine this price is design, unique idea, and something like this. And it's interesting because depending on your vision, you can see everything absolutely otherwise. And instead of thinking how great it was in the past, instead of dwelling on the past, you can literally think about something else. And it's great because I caught myself with one more great idea, that literally you and me, everyone who exists on this planet, who don't have kids yet, is the best version of his family tree. Just imagine who were your ancestors 200 years ago, 400 years ago, and even more. Some people who met each other just by accident. By that accident, they had a kid. That kid grew up, met someone, and had its own child. And it brought you to that moment when you have your parents, two random person in this world who decided to have a child, and you are a result. And why you are the best version? Because every time, it's hard to explain. I don't really know. I don't really remember the lexicon I need to use for this. But when combines the sperm and the egg, or I don't remember how it's called, there are a combination of the most different genes, and those two different kind of genes create a better version than your parents. So basically, you're, as a child, you're a better version genetically, and in terms of other things, you can be smarter, you can have some more advantages compared to your parents. So basically, as a biologic organism, you are the best version of your family tree. Therefore, you have a great potential that you can use. And I mean, it's really interesting to think about such things, and I have lots of thoughts per day when I'm training the gym, when I'm going somewhere, and when I'm just thinking. Also, of course, I'm reading a lot. I'm watching a lot of illuminating content that allows me also to look a bit wider, to some contents that allow me to broaden my perspective. And it's really interesting. I want to write an article about this in Medium, and I've already done one. I have in the description link for that article. And honestly, I would like to start recording videos about my speech, when I would try to reveal a specific topic, of course being prepared, and to tell it, for example, during 6 to 10 minutes, and to make it kind of in a professional way. So, but I need some more time. For example, I'm gonna pass an economic test in 2 days. I hope I will pass it. And then I will have some more free time, and probably I will try to do this. But It's type of videos that I'm not even sure I'm gonna publish. I'm not even sure I'm gonna do this in general, but it's one of the ways to change your speech, to analyze it, and to correct your mistakes, to become better. So it was a really long preface for this video. Just some thoughts. I didn't share with my thoughts for the long time, so I decided to do this, and now I can tell about my day. And by the way, this is how normal it looks like. I have a lot of tasks, not really a lot, some tasks that I execute per day. I count how long it took. I write how long it took. And yeah, today in the morning, I started studying economics. Thanks God, I don't have accounting anymore, and I don't know my results yet, but it doesn't matter anyway right now. I started studying economics. Oh, by the way, before economics, I was repeating French word for 10 minutes. I did it today in the morning, and I'm going to do this tomorrow morning, because it's one more habit that I'm gonna add in my morning routine. So after that, I wrote down my aims, and I was studying economics for 1 hour 30 minutes. After that, I went to the gym. After the gym, I returned home. I was studying again economics for 1 hour 30 minutes. Then I had meantime of 2 hours when I didn't study because I had lunch. I was talking with my mom, and I was talking a bit with my friends. So it's kind of something also about priorities, because I could say I didn't have enough time today to study, but it's about my priorities. Today I set a priority to talk with my mom and to talk with my friends a bit, because I hardly ever allow it to myself. Like, it happens once per 10 days, because I'm studying for the whole day, and as we see, it's gonna take 1-2 hours to talk, so I don't really indulge myself in such things because I'm kind of busy. After that, I was studying economics for 2 more hours, and in total, I have 5 hours of economics per day, which is not really bad, but I realized it's so hard to concentrate. I'm studying lots of terms. The study in English pisses me off so badly, especially when I'm studying about total cost, total average cost, variable average cost, marginal cost, when there's charts and there's a slope. And I have a task when I don't have a chart and a slope. I have some words, and depending on those words, I have to imagine in my head this chart with slopes, and I have to give an answer. It was so boring. I just skipped the chapter. First, I spent 1 hour and 30 minutes to study this. Then I realized it's so boring. I just skipped this. I went on and I started studying macroeconomics, and I was studying about gross domestic product, which is way more interesting. And currently I have chapters that we were studying on our lessons for 9 hours. It took 3 lessons to study all of those chapters that I have to study, and I have to learn them all tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow will be such an interesting day, but I hope I just will pass it. I hope I just will pass it, because I don't want to retake it in 10 months. In 10 months, I'm gonna forget everything. Alright, never mind. So after studying of economic for 5 hours in total, it was kind of late, 7:30 p.m., but I knew I have some things to do more. I was studying French for 30 minutes, and I didn't want to study French, I wanted to study some more economics, but I realized it's better to study French even a bit, at least 30 minutes. So I was studying for 30 minutes French, and it wasn't really bad, like just studying French for 30 minutes, nothing special, but I realized I need to allocate more time because it takes a lot to immerse into this process. Then I need to study a lot of things inside of this, and the 30 minutes pass so fast that I need some more. After that, I was reading a book, and a book is something amazing. I don't know, books, non-fictional books, hold so much knowledge that I guess it's the biggest disservice not to read non-fictional books. I really enjoy doing this. I was reading 30 minutes, and there are always some quotes that I want to analyze. I make a screenshot. Previously, when I was reading from my phone, I was writing down them in my notes. Now I'm making screenshots, and then in several days when I will have some more free time, I want to analyze everything. I want to write some also notes because it's something really useful. And eventually I finished with studying English for 30 minutes, which is also pretty good. I don't know, such words like equilibrium, I don't know, even dwell on the past. It's something that I've learned pretty recently, like several weeks ago. A lot of words that I cannot really remember, such behave in a derogatory way, being under inebriation, such words to expand my vocabulary, to make it more beautiful maybe. Yeah, that's why I'm studying words. I really want to have English as a fluent language, genuinely fluent language, even though I'm studying this language, even though I'm recording those videos, even though it's enough to communicate. I want to master this language genuinely, and I want to master several more languages. One of them is French, which is gonna take some more time, but it's okay. One of the things that I think I should start doing is thinking in French, because when you think in French, I don't know about you, I'm constantly trying to think about something, and it's not even I'm trying, it happens automatically. It depends what are you thinking about. And even if you're thinking about something useless, about some things that happened in the past, about some dialogues that you cannot affect anyhow, about your future conversations, you can try to think about them in language that you are studying. And when you realize you are thinking and you cannot say something, you can open translator and just translate it. And it's really a useful way. It's, beneficial. How to say this? It's a way that really works, because you can write those words down and you can study those words afterwards, expanding your vocabulary, and you're gonna expand with words that you're gonna use because in your mind you had some thoughts and you would use those words in real life, in real conversation. So it's an effective method, I guess. Alright, that's all for today. Such a long video, damn. It's almost 10 p.m. I have to have my dinner and start my day tomorrow. Alright, that's all for today. 6 hours and 30 minutes of total studying, which is not bad. But I'm always striving for better. It's not enough for me. Alright, that's all for today. And without being said, see you next time.